Okay, we have 100 and how many people do we have in the group right now? I think it's 131 people in the group. Okay. All right. So as long as everyone is feeling great and excited, I know some people can't be here. I know some people are still at work, given their time zone. And yes, Frederick, I know this. But given their time zone, I understand this. People do message and say that they can't be on, which I definitely appreciate. But I feel it's important, guys, that we do have, mindset calls, because mindset is everything. And we go through so many challenges in our lives when we want something. And, we go through these challenges, and at the time, we're unaware, certainly, of what these challenges are. We don't look at this as basically, this is a test. Okay, this is a test as to what it is we want. It doesn't matter if we want to be the best trader in the world. It doesn't matter if we want to be the biggest business builder in the world. We're going to go through tests and challenges. And for those of you that don't know my story so much, I'm going to start off by sharing that, because it's not something that I really do share a lot. Now, in my journey, in this particular industry, my journey, when I really realized that goals are everything. We need to have a goal. We need to have a destination as to where it is that we're going. And then we work towards that destination. When I started out on this journey, the test that I had to face was probably the biggest test of my life. And I could have given up and just stopped and just rolled over and curled up in a ball and just gave up for everything. My husband passed away. Okay. And for myself and my kids, that was the biggest battle that we had to face in our lives. And I've been through some battles in my time. I've gone through, from being a very young child, not living in a good environment, a very toxic environment, and that carried on throughout my whole life. And then the one time I meet the person that is the one for me, the person I would call my soulmate, he passes away. Now, Emily, can you just let the chat know that there is no waiting room at all? So yeah, for me, that was difficult to handle, and I could have just stopped, but I had to persist. I had to carry on, because even though I was processing it, but I was still trying to build myself at the same time. Um, and tests can come in any form. But the main thing is that we persist. Tests will come, okay? And as long as you stay true to yourself and true to what it is that you are going for, then you will overcome them tests, okay? Because when my husband passed away, business was okay, it was good, but it wasn't great, okay? And then business became great, even though I was still feeling that deep emotion of loss. And I still feel that today. Business was great, okay? So we are going to face these tests. The universe is going to test us no matter what. But we have to stay true to what it is that we're going for. We have to be alert and aware that what it is we're going for is around the corner, okay? And I've really started to apply that myself, right? There was an incident a few weeks ago where I drove into kind of a tree, but it was like a branch, and it shattered my windscreen and it dented the top of my car. And I was at my mother-in-law's at the time, because we still have a very good relationship, especially with the kids. And I jumped out the car and I celebrated it, because I thought, okay, this is just another one of them tests to see how we can deal with things. And I did that, and then the very next day, something great happened within the team. Okay. So I believe that whatever test we come up to is so incredibly important that we can process it. It's not like we can't stamp our feet and, you know, say how we feel for a second, right? But it's how we continue. You see, most people, when they face a test, they get very cross or they get upset, they get emotional, and they allow that emotional baggage to sit on them until they can, you know, for weeks, a couple of weeks maybe, right? But what I mean by that is to process what's happened and then continue on. We are allowed to, you know, we are allowed to react, okay? But as long as we do not maintain that reaction and we pick ourselves up and we move on, that's where the power is. And as I say, I have really been learning this stuff a lot recently, okay? And I understand now that no matter what happens, something amazing is always going to come. You know, it could be that same day, it could be the next day, it could be that week, but something amazing is going to happen, okay? You know, whatever you're looking for is always looking for you, right? But the universe will test us to see if we're ready for that. Are you ready to have all of this money? What are you going to do with this money? Okay? It's always a test to see if we're ready for it. Okay? And again, this is really, really important that everybody writes down exactly what it is that they want. Okay? You have to be specific. So, for example, for myself, what I do every morning and every night when I wake up and before I go to sleep, I read out my statement of desire. I read out what it is that I want. And already I am seeing from this statement of desire that I have wrote out, these things are happening. These things are starting to happen. I'm starting to get the signs and the clues and the, you know, the confirmation that these things are happening. Okay. So it's really important. What do we see before we go to sleep? What do we see when we wake up in the morning? Most people have routines where they get up, they go and have a cup of coffee, they make their breakfast, or they may get up, go in the shower. There's certain things that people are going to do. But the best thing that anybody can do is take out that 5 minutes in the morning when your subconscious mind is still awake and still working, that you read your statement of desire. Okay? Because I guarantee, I could promise you, I promise you, it will happen. Whatever it is you are looking for will happen if you just follow that system. Okay? And you can start with just to give yourself that belief. You can start with something very small. Okay? Your desire. What do you want right now? You can write it out in a script, because scripting is very powerful as well. So I have my statement of desire and I also have my script as well. And then I have how my life is going to look. Okay. So you can start off with something very, very small. Okay. To build up your belief. But I promise you, and I'm going to say it again, I promise you, if you follow that, whatever it is that you're looking for will happen. Okay? So you can test yourself, right? Belief needs to be built. We will not just start this journey with the belief already. We'll have the confidence, we'll have, you know, but the belief gets, you know, it gets built through time, through reading, through, you know, the studying that we do, through the books that we read. Nice to see you, Hildy. Yeah, through the reading that we do, the studying, we should always be developing our mind. So I will get up in the morning, I will read my statement of desire, If anybody's got the book Think and Grow Rich, it is wrote in there for you to copy. And then you just add the amount of money that you want to generate and how you're going to do it. Now, if this is trading, it could be through trading. That would be what you would write. Now, if it's through business building, you would say through building XYZ. Okay. I read that every single day. And then I have another one where I talk about how many people I want in my team, how many leaders I want in my team, how much income do I want through trading. So I break it down. Okay. And if you continue to do that, it will happen. We all know that the universe is real. We all know that, you know, just us being here on this planet is a gift. It's a thing of beauty. How we are here, you know, how we can walk, talk, communicate, all of these things. To me, I see that as beauty, because there's so many people in the world and where we all came from. So we know that it's a magical place. Okay. And we're very powerful people, right? And again, when it comes to just going back to the test and things like that, our perception is everything. Our perception on how we see certain things. Okay. People will often think that if they have an opinion on something, it's them, you know, being quite negative to somebody, or it's them saying something quite, you know, let's say negative, okay, or you're talking bad about something. It's actually not. This is just to give you an example, okay? Our perception is everything. How we see things is everything, because it's how we see things is what's going to happen next. If we see something as negative, what happens next is going to be negative. So no matter what happens in my life, I look at everything as a positive, regardless. Okay. So how we see things is what we're going to attract next. Okay. For example, if you lose a trade, I never look at losing a trade as a loss. I look at losing a trade as, okay, what did I do wrong? What do I need to improve on? A lesson. But I don't see it as such of a loss. I see it as, oh, I've just lent that money to the market. It's okay. It's going to come back with friends. It's just gone away to pick up some friends and come back. Okay. That's how I look at things. And please, guys, I was never, you know, this positive or this way. I had to develop this through time. And I'm still learning. I will never get on a call and say to you guys, oh, I'm the best of the best of the best, you know, because I'm still learning. We're all learning this together. Okay. So it's really important that our perception, you know, how we look at things is so important. Look at things with, you know, this is a lesson, or this is amazing. Thank you so much. Like when I shattered my windscreen, I just said, thank you so much. My mother-in-law thought I was crazy. She literally looked at me like I was crazy. And I'm not crazy. So yeah, again, perception. And I actually thought it was going to cost me an arm and a leg to get it fixed, but it wasn't. It was quite good. So I was happy with that. And my car wasn't badly damaged. But you know, now I'm going to get a new car. So there you go. You see? Again, it's how we look at things. Okay. And again, like I said, our reaction to things. If you can believe anything, basically, reaction to things, if you believe it, you can have anything that you want. Anything, guys, anything. If you want 100 million in your bank account, you can have 100 million, right? We've shown this on the compound calculator. If you just compound 3% a day, or 5%, sorry, 5% a day, 5%. If you compounded 5% a day just on a $500 account, have you seen how much you could have in your account at the end of that year? Insane amounts of money. Insane. And as you know, guys, with our you know, with our results. That's highly, highly achievable. With Jessica alone, her results have been 100%. 100%. She's the number one in the planet for stocks and things like that. So always react in the best possible way that you can. Okay. Again, me being a single mom with 3 kids, I've got 10, a 7, and a 5-year-old. They can be very testing, you know, especially when they're running around and they're not listening and they're just honestly, sometimes I just want to go and bury my head in sand with them, honestly. But it's a good lesson, because if we react, or I mean, when I was a child, I would get shouted at. I would in the 80s was very different. Okay. And my mum used to react in such an awful way, you know. But for me, it's definitely a lesson when you've got children. Reaction is everything, guys. Absolutely everything. You know, and I just want to really go back to when it comes to our goals and what we're doing every day. Does everybody, and please put it in the chat and comment back to me, does everybody write down, has everybody, should I say, written down their goals, and do you read this when you wake up and before you go to sleep? Just let me know. Put some 2s in the chat, or yes, or anyone else? Not yet. Okay. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Okay. So we can definitely help you with that as well. We're here to help with everything, right? We are here to literally hold your hand, and you know, when you're ready to let go, that's when we'll let go with you, but we're still going to be here. Okay. So it's really important. Writing it out and reading it out is such a powerful thing to do. And there's some really good ways that you can do this. Scripting is such a phenomenal, powerful thing to do. Now, when I set out on this journey, the first thing that I started to do was I started to script. Okay. And I wrote down 6 things that I wanted. And at the time, I wanted a new car. I wanted a house that was a detached. I wanted my house to be very close to the school, so I could, you know, literally throw my kids over the fence, and there they are. I wanted a certain amount of money in my account. Okay. What else did I want? Um, one was my health as well, because at the time, a couple of years ago, my health was deteriorating. And I was in hospital 4 times. I'd got sepsis and things like that. So I was really in a bad way. So I started to script. And with the scripting, I got absolutely everything on that list, but I wasn't specific. So in terms of the house, I asked for a detached house. I got a detached looking house. So upon looking at my house, it looks detached. Okay. So I got what I asked for, but I just wasn't specific enough. Right. Who's not muted? Okay. I got sorry, just let me mute everybody. Yeah, so a detached looking house, right? I did get the house very close to school, because the school is literally facing my house, which is good. I got the car, and I got the money. Okay. So I just wasn't specific with the house that I had, and the health. Sorry, the health. My health is in the best possible. I've never been in such a good place when it comes to my health. So I definitely did that. The only thing that I didn't get properly was the house. Okay. But again, it's all about how specific we are. Okay. What is it that you want? What is it that you really, really want? How much money do you want? You have to write these things down. What do you want? How much money? Now, let's say, for example, if you want to be a trader, okay? So how much money do you want to make in trading? Right? Do you guys think that that's specific enough to write down how much you want in trading? It's probably not, is it? No. So you have to write down how much you want in trading, okay? Are you going to do that through how much percentage are you going to do every single day, right? So let's say, for example, you wanted 800,000 in your bank by the end of the year, by 1 year, right? So you're going to do that starting with a $500 account. You are going to be doing 3% a day, okay? You are going to trade every day, Monday to Friday. And, by the end of the year, you're going to have 800. Hang on, I've got that right. Yeah, you're going to have around about 889,000 in your account, in your trading account. That is just 3% a day. Now, that is specific, right? So you have to write that down. Okay. Very, very specific. Okay. And then, like you said, you're going to do that within a year. So by such and such a date, I will have 886,000 in my account. And how I'm going to do this is by trading Monday to Friday, generating 3% a day on a $500 account. Do you see what I mean? Very, very specific. And then you're going to read that every single day, morning and night. Okay. Now, for example, if it's business building, right? How many people do you want in your team? How many leaders do you want in your team? Will your leaders have leaders who have leaders? And lots of people know that this is one of my mantras. My leaders have leaders who have leaders who have leaders. And everybody, and I'll give you a clue, every single person who is in my team is earning a minimum of 15,000 a month. That is what I saw. Is it later? I saw your face. Yes. I love it. I love it. I love the reaction then. Because that's achievable here. Okay. You can literally be earning 15,000. You can be earning 25,000. You could be earning 50,000, like what Des is earning, 75,000 a month. You could be earning 100,000 a month. You could be earning 250,000 a month. You could be earning 500,000 a month. You could earn 750,000 a month. You can earn 1 million a month. Okay. So I'm telling you all my secrets now, but in my scripts and what I read out every single day is that I have leaders who have leaders who have leaders, and everybody's earning a minimum of 15,000 a month. Okay. I talk about events that we're going to have. I really break down, a lot of things when it comes to the team. Every single person in my team has at least 15,000 a month, because you see, the power in what you can also manifest for your group and for other people is even more powerful. So when you have other people that are manifesting that for you, you're much more likely to achieve, right? If you look at the book, The Power of the Subconscious Mind, I think it was the woman's mom was unwell, and she started to manifest. She started to visualize that her mum would be better. And then over time, her mum got better. So you can literally manifest things for your team. So imagine how powerful that is when you've got, leaders that are manifesting, then you've got more leaders that are manifesting for their groups, and then their groups, and then their groups, and then their groups. It becomes like a huge kind of whirlwind of manifestation, but everybody's manifestations, I hope I'm not confusing you, but they coincide. Does that make sense, guys? Yeah. Yeah. And that becomes very powerful. So I know the power. I don't know, understand why loads of people in the group are messaging me right now. Do they not realize that we're on a call? Okay. So these are basically things that I do, and then I read. I copied this off Bob Proctor. So I read the book Think and Grow Rich every single day, because it tells you in that book how to be a good leader, or what not to do, the things that we should be doing and the things that we shouldn't be doing. It really breaks it down for us. And I think it is a very, very powerful book to read. There's another very, very powerful book to read, and it's called The Power, and it's by Rhonda Byrne. Okay. And she's the lady who did The Secret. The Power is so powerful because what she's talking about is the power of love. If we didn't have love, I do read it every day, but I don't sit there and read lots. So you could just literally read a page a day if you wanted to. You don't have to. No, I'm not this A student where, I'm reading and studying and doing all of these things every day. The only thing I'm mainly consistent with is the things that I read as soon as I open my eyes, because the subconscious mind is still awake for that few minutes. So it kind of really gets into the subconscious mind. But there's times, that I'll think, okay, I'm going to read some of my book and then my children. So very unpredictable. But now here's the thing as well. If I looked at that as it was a negative thing, my perception on that and my reaction to it would create a knock-on effect. It would be like a domino effect. So therefore, I would be canceling out a lot of things. So I don't look at it as it's a negative thing that I haven't read my book, right? Because we can't always do it. Things happen, and we have to be realistic. Now, when we hear all of these audios and things like that we hear nowadays, and you look at Think and Grow Rich, it's very, straight to the point. How Edwin C. Barnes worked with Edison. He didn't do anything spectacular. He just turned up. He had a burning desire. Okay, so that's how he got that, right? So I definitely, oh no, 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 I didn't mean that. Gosh, no, I couldn't do that. I don't think anyone in the, no way. No, just a couple of pages, a page, maybe two. It really doesn't, as long as you are reading some of it, it really doesn't matter. But like I said, it's the perception. If we looked at it as a negative thing, then it would become a negative thing. So we have to really look at it as, okay, I'm not reading it today. That's fine. My goals, I'm still going to achieve my goals. I'm still the richest woman in the world, or whatever it is you want. That's not my goal, to be the richest woman in the world, but all that would be nice. But yeah, again, it's just how you look at things. If you look at things differently, the way that you look at things will change. Okay. So the only thing that I do, and guys, I'm going to be very transparent with you right now. Okay. Sometimes I can't even read my script in the mornings, or sometimes I'm that tired at night that I fall asleep. I'll have it in front of me like this, and I'll start to read it and I'll fall asleep. I'm just being transparent with you. I'm not going to come on this call and say that I am this person, because this is where people, we hear people talking all of the time, right? And they say that you've got to do this, and this. And if you don't do this, and this, you are not going to achieve your goals. Absolute rubbish. Absolute rubbish, right? Because as long as we are making an effort to do it, we will win. So like I said, I'm a single mum with 3 kids. Sometimes I do get tired, and I just fall asleep. I can't help myself. Okay. But I'm just being honest with you. But I still see things happening in what I'm reading is happening. Day by day, something else starts to happen in what I'm reading, right? So don't feel bad on yourself if maybe one time you fall asleep or two times you fall asleep or whatever it is, or you get up in the morning and you can't read it. This is why people don't win, right? Because they believe that they have to live this regimented lifestyle. That's not true. Like, you know, did Edwin C. Barnes wake up every morning and read his goals? No. He woke up every morning with the burning desire that he was gonna work with Edison, right? So that's why I think that the book Think and Grow Rich is very, very powerful, because we're hearing these stories. We're hearing the boy that was born a mute. He didn't have any ears. He gained the ability to hear because of his dad manifesting for him. He didn't do anything, right? So how you look at things will determine your results. Don't ever beat yourself up about anything, ever. You don't want to beat yourself up about anything. No matter what it is, you always say, oh, that's fine. I'm still winning. I'm always going to win. It's how you talk to yourself as well. Talking to yourself is very, very important. Like, how do you speak to yourself when no one's listening? I'm always looking at myself in the mirror and I'm saying, I'm successful, I'm this, I'm that. It's so important, okay? But one thing that I used to do was beat myself up if I didn't do certain things that we were being told to do. And why was I not winning? Well, I was winning, but I wasn't winning. Does that make sense? But since I changed when I heard this, when you look at things differently, the way that you look at things will changed everything for me. Because I never look at myself now and beat myself up if I don't do something. Because at the end of the day, we are only human, right? And if you read the book The Power, where she talks about how even if you just did 51% a day, just 51% a day of the positive, that's enough to tip the balance. That is enough to tip the balance. But everybody believes that they have to do 100%. Everybody believes that. I must be 100%. I must do this. And oh my gosh, I didn't do this. And then they start beating themselves up. No. As long as you do 51% positivity, we'll try and raise it up a little bit more. But as long as you do that 51%, when I heard that, I was like, wow, okay, this is huge. Because I believed that we have to do 100% every day. And if if something happens and we go, SHIT, okay, I've got to keep it PG because okay, but if something happens and we kind of react and it's like, okay, that's fine, right? But before I'd be like, oh my gosh, I've just reacted. What am I going to do? I know, that's it. That's me done for the day. And that's how I would look at things like, oh, today's out, tomorrow I'll start again. And it's like, we shouldn't look at things like that, because we can have an initial reaction, like, for example, but it doesn't matter, because as long as we keep that 51% positive, in line with our goals and our, being positive, looking at things in a great way, the other 49% doesn't really matter. Again, it's how we look at things. That is such a big thing. How we look at everything. Everything. I am a winner. Right? Everything. It's huge. Again, guys, write this down. When you look at things differently, the things that you look at change. Right? Our perception on everything is so big. It doesn't matter if we cry, if we get emotional. It doesn't matter if we have that moment of emotion because, for example, like I said, when my husband passed away, and I was very upset. I was crying. I was in a bad way. But on one hand, that was happening, and on another hand, other things were happening as well. Because you're allowed to be emotional. You're allowed to have that moment of crying or that moment, but as long as you don't maintain it, okay? So for when my husband passed away, yeah, there was a period of myself where, I was very upset. But when my phone rang and people wanted me, the team needed me, I was on the call. I was on the phone to help them, right? So nothing bad happened to me during that time, you know, apart from my husband, I mean. But what I'm saying is my goals were still there. My everything on that side of my life was still operating. Because again, we think that if we have that moment of emotion or that moment of despair, then that's it. But it's not true. It's not true. It's how you look at things. You know you're gonna win, right? So it's very important that you do that. And anyone that isn't scripting, we can definitely help you with that, okay? Because it is a very powerful thing. I came across scripting through somebody called Master Shri Karshna, and he'd interviewed a lady on her scripting, and she said how everything that she scripted came true. And as I said to you guys before, everything I wrote down happened. I just wasn't very specific on the house, right? So you can start with that. Scripting is 6 things that you want, right? So if anyone on this call is not scripting, please write this down, okay? Scripting is 6 things that we want, okay? And you're gonna read it in the morning when you wake up, and you're going to read it at nighttime before you go to sleep. Now, whatever them 6 things are, you don't have to do 6, okay? But she did 6 in the call on the recording that I watched, so I thought, okay, I'll just do 6. And there were 6 things that I wanted. I wanted my health better. I wanted the house, the car, the money. Okay, so I wrote this down and I read this every day. But there were some days I didn't read it, okay? So it wasn't actually every day. So that was a little bit of a fib. I read it most days, right? Most days. Guilty. I read it most days, but guys, none of us is perfect, okay? No one's perfect. I'm not perfect. But as long as we tip the balance of that 51%, it's good enough. All right. So there may be like 1 day a week or 2 days a week that I don't read it. But I would always try. If I don't read it before I fall asleep or when I wake up, then I will read it at some point in the day. It's just I may get busy, so I will read it. Okay. But I'm tipping the balance of that 51%. And that's so important. Okay. So person, have you wrote that down? Because you said in the chat that you yeah, absolutely. And here's another thing as well, right? We get so caught up on the feeling of it, right? But how can you have the feeling of it when you don't really know, right? What it feels like to be a millionaire or things like that. Okay. And that's another thing. I got so like caught up on how am I supposed to feel this? I can go and look at the nice houses, I can step into the nice cars and things like that. I can do that, right? But we get so caught up on what the feeling feels like. Now, for example, if you're a mum on the call, right, and you've had a child before, okay, men, you're out for this one. But if you've had a child, you remember that feeling that you felt when your child was born, right? It's just matching them frequencies. That's it. It doesn't it doesn't need to be like when we feel happy and excited. It's that same feeling. It's the same feeling. It's like um when you've got you've got so much money, you've got no worries and things like that. Have you ever had a day in your life, even if it was just one where you had no worries at all, none whatsoever? You didn't need to look at the bank, you didn't need to worry about anything at home. Maybe when you're on holiday, right? And you just don't need to think about anything that's going on. It's that. It's that feeling. How do you feel when you're on holiday and you're like, oh, this is amazing. I can put my feet up. I can sunbathe. I can drink pina coladas and, I can walk on the beach and it feels good. That's the feeling that you're looking for. There is no specific feeling when it comes to, and again, like we get so caught up on this, right? And we think, oh my God, I can't feel it. What am I supposed to do? How do you feel this? That's it. It's just that carefree, worry-free feeling, like when you're on holiday, or like when you've had a child, or like for a man, when he gets a new car or something like that, or I don't know, gets a new pair of shoes or something, whatever that feeling may be. It's that. There's nothing, spectacular about it. And when I learned that, honestly, I felt like a weight was lifted off my shoulders because I thought, wow, I didn't think I would ever get that feeling of just carefreeness, because that's all it is, right? That's achieving our goals, because you got to imagine, okay, let's say you got 100 million in the bank, no worry whatsoever, right? Yeah, no worry whatsoever, okay? No worries at all. You don't need to worry about paying your water bill, your phone bill, your car, your all of them things, right? It's just that. Like rich people who are rich, because I remember I've asked these questions. I asked my granddad, what does it feel like to be rich? Because my granddad was rich. He said it's just carefree. You don't really feel like you have no worries. You don't need to worry. But then that's in terms of money, but you're still going to encounter other things, right? He says that you just don't need to worry about the money. Like you're not thinking about it. Okay. You feel, you like you can do anything. Like you can go into any shop and buy whatever you want. You can help anybody that you want. There's no specific feeling that we're supposed to feel our bellies like bobbling up and our hearts things like that. It's just as simple as that. Okay. And again, this is where people do, like I did myself. So I hope that does that make sense, guys, to you? Right? There's no need to worry about it, because it's just a worry-free feeling. That's all. If you've ever had a big sum of money and you're like, oh, this feels amazing, right? That's it. That's it. Kirsten, I know you've had that feeling before. Frederick, I know you've had that feeling. Sarah, everybody. I know you've all had that feeling before. Okay. That's all it is, right? So success is free, guys. Success is easy, and success is whoever wants it, right? Whoever believes that they can. And why wouldn't anyone believe that they can be successful? Okay. Guys, does anyone have any questions or anything that you want to ask? If anybody wants to set up a call and we can go through like the scripting process and things like that, then we can definitely do that. And like I said, the book Think and Grow Rich, The Power, and The Game of Life and How to Play It, were books that really changed my life. Florence Scovel's Shin is her name for the game of life and how to play it. The Power, and like I said, the Think and Grow Rich. These were the books. I can't see that, Frederick. Oh, is that Rich Dad Poor Dad? Yeah. They're very good books. But in terms of what really helped me become me, and to really understand that, you know, what everything I've just spoke about was them 3 books, literally. And again, like I said, I'm not perfect. I didn't read it every single day. And yeah, Amelie's right. It's the same with trading. If you feel it's easy, it will be. If you feel it's hard, it will be. If you feel it's hard, then you're going to make mistakes. But when you believe it's easy, right? So I was able to take my account from you know, just a few $100s up to 4,500. Okay, because I was like, yeah, this is easy. Because all it is we're copying and pasting signals. We're copying and pasting alerts. Like, how many alerts do we get every single day, guys? There's so many. There is so many. And a round of applause to Kate, by the way, for making 300 today. And this was the lady that said she couldn't do it, right? So we've had some very good conversations recently, but a round of applause to her for actually doing it herself, right? She did that herself, right? Because now she's looking at things differently, okay? So again, like Amelie just said, trading. Trading is very scary. I remember when I first took my first trade, my heart was like, boom, 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 out of my chest. I was so scared. So scared. But again, it's just that feeling of it's just a worry carefree feeling. So does anyone have any questions, or anyone have any you know, if anybody wants us to talk about any certain topics, we can. If anybody wants to, you know, sit up here and do this with me at compounddaily.org. It's compounddaily.org. I know Amelie's typing it in the chat because she's my little secretary, my little secret secretary. But if anybody has any requests for certain subjects that we can talk about, if anybody wants to come and do this with me, right? It's all open, because look, guys, one thing that I have learned as well is that I am no better than anybody. Okay. So I may have different qualities that Layla has. I may have different qualities that Hilda has, and Hilda and Layla have different qualities that I don't have. Right. So no one is better than anybody. And that's one thing that this team is all about. Okay, we are all here equal. I will never look at myself like I'm better than anybody. There are definitely qualities that I do not have that you guys have. Okay. So if anybody wants to kind of step up and do mindset calls, or you want to talk about certain subjects, it's open to everybody. Okay, guys. So we will leave it at there for now, because we have a call starting with the very one and only Mr. Des Finance. He is just phenomenal. Okay. Des was a school teacher. For those that don't know, Des was a school teacher for many, many years. So he's always been somebody that wants to give to people. He's always been somebody that will be there. He'll get down and he'll get his hands dirty with people. You know, he's made a lot of money in this industry, and he's also put a lot of that money into building schools in certain countries like Africa and places like that. He is a servant leader. He's always there to help and support us with everything that we need. Des is definitely such an amazing person to be around. He's icon 50 at the minute, and he will be icon 75, which is obviously 50,000 a month residual income every month, which is just phenomenal. But he definitely, you know, gives back to everybody every single day. He's always available whenever anybody needs him. So guys, I'm going to leave it there. We are going to do this every week. And yeah, I look forward to every single call that we have. I love you all and can't wait to see you all again. So if anyone's jumping on that call, I will see you on that next call. Bye for now.